In 2006, the Discovery Channel made a documentary called The Boy with Divine Powers. It tells the story of Ram Bahadur Bomjan, later known as Buddha Boy, a 15-year-old boy meditating in the forests of Bara district in central Nepal. When the film crew arrived, Bomjan had been sitting under a Bodhi tree for 8 months without eating or drinking, as if it was a restoration of the scene when Shakyamuni Buddha attained enlightenment thousands of years ago. The documentary caused a global sensation. Media from around the world reported on this meditating boy, and the miracles around him grew more mysterious with each retelling. The Nepalese even called him the reincarnation of the Buddha. Nepal is the birthplace of Buddhism. The founder of Buddhism, Siddhartha Gautama, originally named Siddhartha Shakyamuni, was born about 2,600 years ago in the Kapilavastu kingdom in northern ancient India, which is situated now in Nepal. He was the crown prince of Kapilavastu. It's also said that the entrance to the mythical Shangri-La is in Nepal, and it's where the mysterious Himalayan Yeti appeared. It's fair to say that Nepal is a land full of divine power. Bomjan has much in common with Shakyamuni Buddha, making him one of the most known spiritual practitioners in recent years, alongside the reincarnated child lamas. However, just as Bomjan was gaining worldwide fame, his story took an unexpected turn. Today, we'll explore the story of this Nepalese spiritual practitioner who shocked the world. On April 6, 1990, a full moon night, Ram Bahadur Bomjan was born in Ratnapuri, Bara district, southwest of Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, about 200 kilometers from the birthplace of Shakyamuni Buddha. Bomjan was born into a poor farming family in Nepal. He was the third oldest among 5 siblings. His mother's name is Maya Devi, the same name as Shakyamuni Buddha's mother. According to her, Bomjan was born with a vision and screamed like thunder as soon as he was born. When she was pregnant with him, she would vomit every time she ate meat, which didn't happen with his siblings. Bomjan has been a vegetarian since birth. As a child, he would always try to stop villagers from slaughtering cattle, sheep, or poultry. Later, his followers believed he had awakened compassion since birth, and not eating any living beings came from the Buddhist precept of not killing. When he was 6 or 7 years old, Bomjan witnessed a cremation for the first time and slowly began to recall memories of his past life. At 11, he went to Dehradun in India to study Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhism and received his first Dharma name, Palden Dorje. However, he refused to shave his head, which is unusual in Tibetan Buddhism. In Tibetan Buddhism, there is a tradition of searching for reincarnated child lamas. Bomjan was once taken to a cave to meditate along with several other practicing children to determine if they had past life experiences. While the others came out quickly, Bomjan stayed and meditated for 3 days, eating very little. It was then that his master realized Bomjan was different. However, at 14, Bomjan gave up his previous practices and returned home to Nepal. 5 months later, he told his mother he was beginning a 6-year ascetic meditation. On May 16, 2005, he left home and went to a jungle in Ratanpuri, where he sat in the hollow of an ancient Bodhi tree and started meditating. At first, villagers thought it was a joke. But as time passed, people realized Bomjan had indeed been sitting still for several days. Some were impressed and believed he possessed extraordinary spiritual powers. Gradually, villagers began bringing him food, leaving it at the Bodhi tree where he sat. His brother even built a simple fence around the tree to shield him from distractions. Bomjan's story spread, attracting an increasing number of Buddhists who came to observe his meditation. By the 5th month of his meditation, the forest area had transformed into a bustling market. To cater to the daily needs of thousands of visitors, many vendors set up stalls. There was even a parking area set up nearby with traffic attendants managing the flow of vehicles. One restaurant owner from town closed his shop to set up a stall in the forest, finding it more profitable.
I used to run a restaurant in the city, but this one makes much more money.
Bomjan's brother used to be a farmer, but he later became the manager of the market. It's fair to say that Bomjan boosted the local economy all by himself. Many believers came from far away to worship him, some even prostrating on their way to him. Some of them settled down in the woods and started meditating like Bomjan. In late 2005, the Discovery Channel learned about Bomjan's story and ventured into the woods, initially skeptical about the claims. By then, Bomjan had already been meditating for 8 months without eating or drinking. According to American nutritionists, a normal person would typically be in danger after 72 hours without food or water, especially water. If Bomjan's story proved true, it would present an unsolved mystery for modern medicine. The film crew camped outside the fence near the Bodhi tree for 4 to 5 days, but they never witnessed Bomjan eating or drinking anything. He did not leave the Bodhi tree even once. Some nutritionists suggested that Bomjan might have entered a state similar to hibernation, while French Buddhist scholar Jérôme Edu believed that Bomjan's meditation was similar to an ancient yogic practice that allows people to absorb nutrients from sunlight and air. Even more strangely, the film crew captured footage of Bomjan's sweating intermittently from his face and neck on a cold night, with temperatures ranging from 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. This indicated that his body was still functioning well, with his body seemingly generating heat as if he was doing physical exercise. The crew speculated that this could be due to Tumo, an ancient Tibetan Buddhist meditation technique. Tumo, meaning inner fire, involves using breathing techniques to harness internal heat energy stored in the Dan Tian, or elixir field, situated in the lower abdomen, and facilitates the flow of heat throughout the body, raising body temperature. Tumo is a widely practiced meditation method among Tibetan Buddhists in the frigid Himalayan region. In the 1980s, an American scholar led an expedition to the Himalayas to investigate this phenomenon. They soaked cloth in ice water and draped it over a lama. After approximately 45 minutes, steam began rising from the wet cloth. In the documentary, a Tibetan Buddhist lama explained that meditators sweat because they are struggling internally, something invisible to outsiders. The lama also said that many people think not eating or drinking for a few days is pretty amazing, but practicing Buddhists know it's no big deal. At 8 p.m. on Wednesday, January 5, 2006, something shocking occurred. Nearly 60 people witnessed flames erupting from Bomjan's chest, burning away the clothes he had worn for nearly 10 months. Standing naked amidst the flames, he turned around and sat back down. After a while, when the flames extinguished, he weakly asked his brother, "Please bring me my red robe." Everyone was astonished. His brother draped the robe over him and asked everyone to leave so that Bomjan could concentrate on meditation. Since then, more miracles about Bomjan began to spread. Some claimed to see Buddha's light on Bomjan's head, while others reported witnessing him being bitten by a poisonous snake. Instead of seeking medical treatment, he simply meditated and sweated out the venom. Another pilgrim recounted an incident where, while offering food to Bomjan, he accidentally made physical contact with him and immediately felt a surge of peace and joy within himself. Bomjan was born on a full moon night, just like Shakyamuni Buddha. His mother shares the same name as Buddha's mother, and both Bomjan and Buddha meditated under a Bodhi tree in identical postures. Locals proclaimed Bomjan to be the reincarnation of Shakyamuni Buddha. Some even believed he possessed a holier soul than Buddha, because while Shakyamuni meditated under the tree without food or water for 49 days, Bomjan did so for 10 months. Despite briefly awakening from meditation once and telling his followers, "Don't call me Buddha, I don't have Buddha's energy, I am only at the level of asceticism," the locals continued to firmly believe he was the reincarnation of the Buddha. However, just as Bomjan was becoming more widely known and attracting more and more worshippers from around the world, in March 2006, he suddenly disappeared from the tree hollow where he was meditating. On the morning of March 11, 2006, people found that the fence in front of the Bodhi tree had been cut, and Bomjan was gone, leaving only his clothes in the tree hollow. There was no blood or any sign of a struggle. Some people said they saw Bomjan go deep into the jungle. 8 days later, Bomjan returned to the village near the jungle and told the village elders that he had left because it was too noisy, and he needed a quiet place to meditate. He also said that he would disappear for 6 years and asked them not to worry about him, promising to return with wisdom to serve the world. However, Bomjan reappeared less than a year later. On December 26, 2006, a villager found Bomjan in the jungle. His hair had grown longer and he appeared physically stronger. He also had a sword on his back, which he said was for protection in troubled times. Then, he disappeared again. In March 2007, people found that Bomjan's followers had helped him build an underground meditation bunker in the Halkoria jungle in the Bara district, which Bomjan called the Patal Gumba. In August, Bomjan took a break from his meditation. He emerged from the bunker and delivered a speech to over 3,000 followers in the Halkoria jungle. In his speech, he stated that humanity is currently in the Dharma-ending age, where the karma of the three poisons, greed or sensual attachment, hatred or aversion, and ignorance or delusion, had severely damaged the world. He emphasized that the only way to salvage the world is to walk the right path and cultivate spirituality. The term Dharma-ending age originates from Buddhist teachings, describing an era in Buddhist cosmology marked by moral and spiritual decline. During this period, the teachings of Buddhism lose their effectiveness and purity, ultimately leading to the decline of Buddhism and the extinction of the Dharma. According to Buddhist eschatology, after this age, Maitreya Buddha will be born, bringing forth an era of peace and happiness. Bomjan declared that he had renounced all worldly attachments and was solely focused on saving humanity. With this proclamation, it seemed Bomjan was ready to establish a new religion. In November of the same year, Bomjan held a 10-day spiritual summit and began to accept being seen as a living saint by his followers. In November of 2008, he appeared again, dressed in a white robe with long hair, and spoke with his followers in front of the Bodhi tree where he first meditated. In May 2011, Bomjan completed his 6-year ascetic meditation. Followers from around the world held a grand ceremony for him under the Bodhi tree. Throughout these 6 years, each disappearance and reappearance garnered extensive media coverage, further enhancing his reputation. Naturally, Bomjan established his own religion, named the Bodhi Shravan Dharma Sangha, and assumed the title of Maha Sambodhi Dharma Sangha Guru. In Hinduism, a guru is revered as a wise leader and a living spiritual flame. Throughout history, it's undeniable that organized religion often paves the path to wealth and power. Gradually, an empire of influence and riches formed around Bomjan. Religious prosperity is a distinctive feature of Nepalese society, with 90% of the population practicing Hinduism, 7% to 8% practicing Buddhism, and 1% to 2% practicing other religions. Nepal is often called the land of gods, with more deities than people and more temples than houses. With countless practitioners in Nepal, why did Bomjan stand out? Apart from his so-called miracles, the timing of his emergence also fueled his rise to fame. Between 1996 and 2006, Nepal was engulfed in a 10-year civil war, initiated by the Maoist Communist Party, to overthrow the monarchy and establish a People's Republic. The conflict saw the royal government and the Communist Party of Nepal fighting across the country, leaving towns in ruins and displacing countless people, exacerbating the hardships of an already impoverished population. The civil war ended with the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement on November 21, 2006. However, the scars left by the war were not easily healed. It was during this tumultuous period that stories of Bomjan's supposed reincarnation as the Buddha began to spread. Suffering immensely, the Nepalese were in desperate need of a spiritual leader to guide them out of their misery. It can be said that Bomjan's appearance and his declaration to save humanity brought renewed hope to the lives of the Nepalese people, with his miracles increasingly exaggerated through word of mouth. In 2010, Mani Lama, the former Minister of Health of Nepal, became a devoted follower of Bomjan. It was Mani Lama who opened the doors of political power for Bomjan. Mani Lama decided to follow Bomjan after experiencing what he believed was a miracle. He and his wife had been trying to conceive a child for many years without success. Desperate, he encountered Bomjan by chance, and according to him, his wife became pregnant the 2nd month after receiving Bomjan's blessing. When this became known, one netizen sharply remarked, "All I want to say is you better know the difference between spirituality and stupidity." With Mani Lama's introduction, more and more Nepalese politicians started to connect with Bomjan. In 2014, then Prime Minister Sushil Koirala met with Bomjan. Bomjan's followers claimed that he cured Koirala's cancer with a simple touch. In reality, Koirala died in Kathmandu 2 years later at the age of 76. However, during that meeting, Prime Minister Koirala designated the Halkoria jungle as a religious forest, because one of Bomjan's followers who attended the meeting told him that Nepal's civil war had gradually subsided since Bomjan began meditation in 2005. In other words, They believed that Bomjan brought peace to Nepal. Since then, this state-owned land in the Halkoria jungle has transformed into Bomjan's private ashram. His followers erected a barbed wire fence several kilometers long in the forest to conduct religious activities undisturbed. During the meeting, Bomjan also told Prime Minister Koirala that he planned to globalize his new religion and create a universal religious language that transcends geographical limitations, uniting the whole world into one big family. That same year, Prime Minister Koirala issued a diplomatic passport for Bomjan. With the endorsement of senior government officials, large donations poured into Bomjan's religion, and the number of foreign worshippers grew steadily. The religion's official website was available in 28 languages, and Bomjan's ashrams were established worldwide. In 2016, Mani Lama arranged an overseas tour for Bomjan. The tour fleet consisted of 5 cars. Bomjan instructed Mani Lama to drive the lead car at a speed of 100-120 kilometers per hour, and not to stop even if he hit someone. For Bomjan, human life seemed to hold little value. From late March to early April 2017, Bomjan held the 2017 World Peace Maitri Puja in Bungamati, a historic village in the southern part of Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. Thousands of believers from all over the world flocked to this small village. To ensure the puja's success, Bomjan's followers demolished ancient temples and numerous statues belonging to the Newari indigenous people. During the puja, a strong wind swept through Bungamati. Some Newari locals who opposed Bomjan interpreted this as a manifestation of the ancient god's anger. Bomjan's journey from Bara district to Bungamati was paved by a grand procession of over 150 cars and 250 motorcycles, rivaling the entourage of a prime minister. A large number of attendees purchased books and CDs documenting Bomjan's life and teachings, along with so-called enlightened pendants. The exact earnings of the Bodhi Shravan Dharma Sangha from this puja remain unknown. In 2018, then Nepali Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba invited Bomjan to his home, and the two had a long conversation. In 2019, the succeeding Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli directly granted Bomjan 700 hectares of land in Parsa National Park, where he could build houses, fences, or whatever he desired. However, just a year later, the District Court of Salahi in Madasi Province issued an arrest warrant for Bomjan. Yes, you heard right. Despite the support of many high-ranking officials, Bomjan's religious empire still resembled a splendid residence infested with termites, quietly undermining its structure and harboring hidden corners of filth and disgrace. In fact, even before Bomjan completed his 6-year ascetic meditation, he had already been involved in a series of controversial incidents. Earlier, it was mentioned that Bomjan was carrying a sword when he reappeared for the second time in late December 2006. He claimed it was for his own protection, but in July 2007, there were reports that he had stabbed a 22-year-old shepherd named Anil Khatri in the shoulder and neck with that sword. Khatri later said that he was detained by Bomjan and his followers for 3 hours. However, Bomjan's followers argued that the shepherd had first broken into Bomjan's underground meditation bunker, Patal Gumba, with a traditional Nepalese dagger, and that Bomjan had stabbed him in self-defense. Later, Bomjan's brother took the injured shepherd to the hospital, and Khatri did not report this to the police. At the end of 2009, Bomjan made headlines again. In November of that year, the Gadimai Festival, which takes place every 5 years, was held at the Gadimai Temple in Bariarpur, Bara district. This festival involves the mass sacrifice of animals to the Hindu goddess Gadimai, with hundreds of thousands of animals like buffaloes, pigs, goats, chickens, and pigeons being slaughtered. Bomjan, who advocated for the equality of all beings and opposed killing, called for the permanent banning of such large-scale animal slaughter. Although his intention was good, the organizers of the Gadimai festival, including the abbot Mangal Chaudhary Tharu, dismissed his and other animal rights activists' pleas and went ahead with the festival as planned. This posed a serious challenge to Bomjan's authority, and he declared he would meditate at the Gadimai temple and use his divine power to stop the sacrifices. However, as the festival approached, Bomjan disappeared once again, and in fact, 250,000 animals were still slaughtered during the 2009 Gadimai festival. A few months later, Bomjan was found in the Sarlahi region of southeastern Nepal, near the Indian border. It turned out that after his unsuccessful attempt to stop the Gadimai festival, he had been staying at the home of Rita Bhatt, a female devotee of his religion. Rita Bhatt lived with her parents and siblings. After Bumjan stayed in Rita's room for a month, he told her parents that Rita had become his wife. Confused, Rita's parents asked, "Can people who practice Buddhism have sexual relationships?" Bumjan assured them it was no problem. As devout followers of Bumjan, they even felt honored. According to Rita's sister, Bumjan hardly went out during the day, and despite his claims of practicing ascetic meditation without food and water for 6 years, ate the meals she prepared for him. Rita later left home with Bumjan. Initially, they visited Rita's parents a few times, but eventually, Rita lost all contact with her family. Bumjan once visited alone, asking if they knew where Rita was, which puzzled them since they believed she was with him. Rita's parents wanted to call the police, but Bumjan warned them not to, as it would cause him trouble. They believed him until more victim stories emerged years later, compelling them to come forward. To this day, Rita remains missing. In 2010, 17 villagers near Halkoria jungle reported to the police that they had been detained for 24 hours after mistakenly entering Bumjan's meditation area while picking wild vegetables. During this period, Bumjan reportedly beat them for 3 hours. On July 26, 2010, Bara District Police visited Bumjan's ashram in Halkoria jungle to question him for the first time. He responded aggressively, claiming the villagers had disturbed his meditation, and he had acted according to divine law. He insisted he would never appear in court and rhetorically asked the police, "Do you think a meditating sage will go to the court to hear a case?" It seemed Bumjan truly saw himself as the reincarnated Maitreya Buddha. In 2012, reports of Bumjan imprisoning 2 female devotees shocked the world once again. One devotee, from Sindhupalchok, Nepal, was unnamed by the media. The other was Marichi from Slovakia. Marichi arrived in Nepal in January 2011 and stayed at Bumjan's ashram in Halkoria jungle for several months until she was suddenly expelled without warning or explanation. Marichi visited Nepal on a tourist visa. In August 2011, Bumjan contacted her again, reassuring her that she didn't need to worry about her visa status and that he had the power to decide whether she could legally stay in Nepal. In December 2011, Bumjan lured Marichi back to the ashram. Over the next 3 months, Marichi's mobile phone, laptop, and other communication devices were confiscated. She was imprisoned, abused, and had her wrist broken. Bumjan allegedly instructed his followers to sexually assault Marichi. The ordeal ended on March 25, 2012, when a follower left Marichi at a hotel in Samara, Bara district. Traumatized, she reported the incident to the police. Bumjan and his followers denied the accusations, claiming she was expelled for using witchcraft to disrupt his meditation. Today, Marichi remains active online, exposing Bumjan's dark side. The mounting scandals eventually made Bumjan's mother worry about the safety of her 13-year-old daughter Ranjita, who was staying at Bumjan's ashram. Shockingly, she feared Ranjita might be forced into an incestuous relationship. Later, she even called the police, hoping they could help bring Ranjita home safely. However, when the police found Ranjita, she said that she did not want to leave the ashram. Just like Bumjan's brother, Bumjan's elder sister Manu had also been following and protecting Bumjan since he started to meditate. On September 29, 2016, Manu passed away at a very young age. Bumjan and his followers claimed that Manu died of a brain disease, but others alleged that she was beaten at the ashram because she knew too much. In 2014, Bumjan and his followers attacked 5 more men, but he was still personally received by then Prime Minister Sushil Koirala in October of the same year. On September 15, 2018, Ganga Maya Tamang, a former female follower who had just turned 18, held a press conference in Lalitpur, Kathmandu Valley, accusing Bumjan of long-term abuse. She said she had gone through great pains to escape from his ashram. However, Bumjan's believers, including former Health Minister Mani Lama, refuted Tamang's accusation and claimed that Tamang had stolen 800,000 rupees when she left the ashram. The incident attracted much attention at the time, and more victims and their families started to come forward. At the end of 2018, the Nepali police received 4 missing persons reports from the families of 4 worshippers, Fulmaya Rumba and Sanchalal Waiba from Makwanpur, Suresh Ale Magar from Bara district, and Chunmo Dolma Tamang from Nuwakot. They had all lost contact with their families since they went to Bumjan's ashram. Over the years, the religious empire built by Bomjan had long become one of the economic pillars of Nepal. Each puja he held would attract numerous believers from all over the world, which boosted the local economy. Countless politicians shielded Bomjan, and negative news concerning him was consistently erased. But the truth would eventually come out. On February 6, 2020, the Sarlahi District Court officially issued an arrest warrant for Bomjan. In the following 4 years, Bomjan started a game of hide-and-seek with the police. Since the court issued the arrest warrant, Bomjan could no longer stay at his famous ashram in the Halkoria jungle. However, he still had ashrams in other districts like Sinduli, Sarlahi, Sindupalchok, Lamjung, Nuwakot, and Makawanpur. The police first raided Bomjan's ashram in Kamalamai in the Sindhuli district, but they didn't find him there because a follower had already tipped him off. Later, the police raided his ashram in Sindupalchok, but once again, it ended in vain. In June 2020, the police received a tip-off that Bomjan had returned to his ashram in Kamalamai of Sinduli district. This time, they sent a team of 150 officers to seal off the ashram, but Bomjan still managed to escape. According to the police, Bomjan's worshippers tried to stop them the whole time. Finally, on January 10, 2024, the police managed to arrest the 33-year-old Bomjan in a residence in Budhanilkantha municipality, the northernmost part of the Kathmandu Valley. It wasn't an ashram, so Bomjan didn't have many worshippers to protect him there. When he was arrested, Bomjan tried to escape by jumping out of a window, but this time he failed. It seemed that this reincarnation of the Buddha hadn't even mastered the divine eye of the 6 divine powers of Buddhism. Otherwise, he wouldn't have needed tip-offs from his followers. The police found more than 30 million rupees in cash in the house, equivalent to $350,000. There were also currencies from 17 countries totaling $36,000. Additionally, there were car keys for a Toyota Hilux pickup truck, ownership documents for 3 motorcycles, 14 mobile phones of various brands in a drawer, and several laptops, iPads, and tablets. According to the police, Bomjan's usual vehicle was another Toyota Fortuner SUV registered under someone else's name. The church recently bought a 50 million rupee Toyota Land Cruiser ZX for Bomjan, which was registered under the name of the church's nominal chairman, Panit Maharjan. Surprisingly, Bomjan's wife Deepshika and their 2 children were also living in this house. As early as 2015, he announced to his trusted devotees that Deepshika was Guru Amma, meaning the divine wife, and that she was pregnant. Deepshika was the second wife Bomjan had acknowledged after Rita. The day after his arrest, Bomjan was taken to the Sarlahi District Court by the police, where he will stand trial. With a wife, children, and considerable wealth, is this what Bomjan meant when he claimed to have renounced all attachments to the material world? Let's circle back to the documentary The Boy with Divine Powers we mentioned earlier. It can be said that this documentary put Bomjan in the global spotlight. Now, about the miracles attributed to Bomjan in the documentary, are they real or not? Some argue that Bomjan's entire story was fabricated, suggesting he might have deceived the film crew into believing he could survive months or even years of meditation without food or water. A protective fence surrounded the Bodhi tree where he meditated, preventing anyone from staying close to him for extended periods, which raises the possibility that he ate and drank late at night when people had gone. However, some also suggest that while those miracles may have been genuine and he might have truly been a spiritual practitioner, once he gained fame, power, and wealth, he succumbed to temptation, abandoned the teachings of Buddha, and turned to evil. Those followers who continue to follow Bomjan today may have forgotten that the extinction of the Dharma Sutra describes the end of the Dharma era as a time when demonic beings enter the Buddhist gates. These demonic monks wear Buddhist robes but fail to uphold even the basic 5 precepts, engaging in activities such as drinking alcohol, eating meat, and killing. They are driven by greed and lack compassion entirely. They are the dirty corners of the world. That's all for today. If you like our video, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.